Welcome back to our channel, the place where hidden chapters, royal secrets, and the stories the palace won't publish finally come to light. Today we bring you a breaking news: Meghan Markle labeled vile for Bezos flirting amid shocking wardrobe theft. As a result of her recent public appearances and media reports, the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle, has been placed back at the center of scrutiny in the media. This has prompted a renewed discussion concerning her professional engagements in the fashion industry, the trajectory and reception of her entrepreneurial ventures, as well as the status of her content collaboration with Netflix. These events have led to the resurfacing of past accusations about the manner in which the couple handled designer items that were on loan. This has resulted in these accusations being intertwined with thorough assessments of their branding strategy and ongoing discussions about their relationship with the British royal family. The Ushas model, a one-shoulder dress in the color emerald green, is the focal point of the debate that has erupted recently. This dress is produced by the London-based fashion house Galvan and has a reported retail price of roughly $1,690. The Duchess was wearing the dress in promotional footage for a Netflix Christmas special that was called With Love, Meghan, and it attracted attention at the time. As a result of the public appearance, a significant number of commentators and several industry insiders were prompted to reevaluate claims that were initially brought forth in 2022 after a high-profile photo shoot was done for Variety magazine. According to the initial assertions, which were based on contemporaneous reporting, it was revealed that a number of items that were borrowed for the Variety shoot had not been returned on time, and in some situations might not have been returned at all. As a result of the return of the Galvan gown, a garment that was explicitly mentioned in earlier accounts, examination and speculation regarding its retention beyond the time period that had been stipulated for the loan were consequently reignited. According to accounts from a wide variety of sources, including Radar Online, the employees who were engaged in the 2022 shoot had a suspicion that the Duchess had taken with her a number of items that she had borrowed during the session, and that she had not had the appropriate permission to keep them for an extended period of time. The narrative was disseminated even further in March of 2024, when it was featured in a podcast with journalist Andrew Gold. During the podcast, Vanessa Grigoriadis, a guest and distinguished reporter, referenced earlier work by biographer Tom Bauer. Bauer's previous work included an account of an unrelated incident that occurred during Meghan's time as a representative for the Canadian clothing retailer Reitmans. In his account, he claimed that a pair of high-heeled shoes had gone missing after they were used in a promotional shoot. Following the report that was released by Bauer, Grigoriadis expressed that she received information from various independent sources. These sources indicated that there was a similar trend of missing or tardily returned items after a notable photo shoot had been conducted recently. This photo shoot featured the Duchess, and a significant quantity of loaned items was not returned to their respective showrooms in a timely manner, according to the sources. In order to understand the reason for the public debate that has arisen in response to certain claims concerning a solitary dress, it is necessary to acknowledge the importance and dynamics of the loan system within the realms of fashion and entertainment. Garments and accessories are often supplied to stylists, celebrities, and editorial teams by high-end fashion houses, accessory businesses, and jewelry designers for photo shoots, red carpet events, and other high-profile occasions. The practice functions as a mechanism of reciprocal promotion. Designers gain visibility when notable individuals wear their creations in media that has a wide circulation, while celebrities acquire luxury items that they may not otherwise possess, which fulfill specific aesthetic or narrative functions for photo shoots and public appearances. In general, the business adheres to a stringent schedule because unique goods, particularly runway samples and couture pieces, are considered distinctive assets that are intended to be shared across a diverse range of clients and media channels. When managing a single editorial project, a stylist may compile a variety of possible outfits, which could include shoes, handbags, dresses, and a wide range of accessories. When the shooting has come to an end, it is typically the responsibility of the stylist or a representative who has been appointed by the stylist to go through each item and catalog it to ensure that it is returned in the condition that was previously agreed upon, and to make arrangements for its shipment back to the designer or showroom that is appropriate. It is of utmost importance to take these procedures as they protect the financial investments that designers make in one-of-a-kind samples, prevent logistical bottlenecks, and maintain the relationships that designers have with their clients. There will be immediate and tangible consequences if there are any delays in the return process. It is possible that the same dress has been set aside by showrooms that adhere to strict editorial deadlines for a magazine cover that is to be released in the future, or for the appearance of a celebrity at an event that is about to take place during the awards season. Even a short delay of a few days can force teams to look for replacements, incur penalty fees, interfere with advertising campaigns, or give up opportunities for placement that are sensitive to timing. When it comes to couture houses, where individual garments may take thousands of hours to produce, due to the skill required, a prolonged period of not circulating the product presents both practical and reputational difficulties. The system of lending is dependent on turnover that is expected to occur. When there are deviations from this expectation, it causes repercussions to spread throughout an ecosystem that places a high priority on both exposure and access. In this context, Meghan's donning of the Galvanush's gown in Netflix promotional content was interpreted by certain industry analysts and critics as an indication that the dress had been preserved since the 2022 Variety photoshoot. Royal commentator Angela Levin remarked that the public appearance communicated an intentional message asserting, "She doesn't care, does she?" It's essentially stating, "I'm wearing this, what will you do about it?" She will act according to her own convictions, disregarding others. Levin characterized the decision to wear the dress not merely as a fashion choice, but as a symbolic act that, in her opinion, could jeopardize professional relationships. The resurgence of an item linked to previous stories has intensified an ongoing public discourse regarding etiquette and accountability in celebrity fashion, whether as a provocation or a pragmatic wardrobe choice. The aforementioned concerns contribute to a broader discourse over the Duchess's relationship with the fashion industry as a whole. Entertainment journalist Rob Shooter, in his platform Naughty But Nice, has referenced anonymous industry sources indicating that designers and showrooms are frustrated by what they describe as a trend of delayed returns. Shooter's study presents various anonymous testimonies indicating that although there are no criminal allegations of theft, the Duchess's handling of borrowed things deviates from industry norms. A stylist referenced in those reports allegedly informed Shooter, "Meghan does not adhere to conventional return policies. She retains items significantly longer than any A-lister typically would." This uncredited remark encapsulates the frustration voiced by staff who feel that the essential rotation rhythm of their businesses is being compromised. The difficulties are reportedly most pronounced at the Sussex's Montecito property, where objects intended for evaluation and utilization are purportedly returned weeks later than stipulated. The delay necessitates showroom personnel to reorganize schedules and seek alternatives for other prominent clientele who have requested the same items. A source elucidated, "These items are intended to be in perpetual rotation for magazines, red carpets, and various clients. When Meghan retains them, it causes a backlog." To address these operational difficulties, certain fashion houses have allegedly implemented improvised strategies. They incorporate a Meghan buffer time into their scheduling, diminish the quantity or worth of items available for loan, or establish more stringent check-in and follow-up protocols to guarantee prompt returns. The emergence of a buffer in a meticulously organized plan highlights how a single client, through either perceived actions or actual delays, can necessitate an industry to modify entrenched logistical principles. Not all feedback from the fashion industry has been uniformly negative, despite the stated irritations. A fashion public relations source cited in the report characterized the Duchess as lovely and gracious, while noting a crucial caveat: she definitely operates on Meghan time. The fashion world does not. This contrast reflects a nuanced perspective among some insiders who describe the Duchess's demeanor as amiable, but observe that her pace and expectations often diverge from the rapid demands of global fashion showrooms and editorial schedules. The term Meghan time has consequently become a colloquial expression in these narratives for a scheduling and response pattern that seems inconsistent with industry standards. Inquiries over the management of borrowed items have extended beyond stylists and showrooms. They have also coincided with examination of the Sussex's commercial affiliations, particularly their multi-year production agreement with Netflix. In 2020, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex entered into a contract allegedly valued at much to $100 million via their production firm Archewell Productions to create a range of content, including documentaries, feature films, and scripted projects. Anticipations for the agreement were elevated. Netflix at that juncture aimed to diversify its content portfolio by collaborating with internationally acclaimed individuals capable of providing both established audiences and unique creative viewpoints. In recent months, some analysts have construed specific corporate choices by Netflix as potential signs of waning interest in the Sussex relationship. Netflix is set to introduce a new venture named Netflix House, an immersive retail and entertainment concept aimed at establishing facilities in several major cities. These venues will retail and commemorate stuff associated with the platform's most acclaimed series products that enable fans to interact with shows beyond streaming through physical items and themed events. Tom Sykes, writer of the Royalist blog for the Daily Beast, revealed that the Duchess's lifestyle brand, American Riviera Orchard, will not be available in the new Netflix House stores. Sykes emphasized the disparity between the inclusion of stuff from shows like Bridgerton, a Shondaland series that has emerged as a significant cultural export, and the exclusion of products from American Riviera Orchard, a brand linked to another prominent Netflix collaborator. Sykes cited an industry insider who characterized the omission as the corporate way of saying, "Perhaps we are finished here," indicating a strategic distancing rather than a clear public severance. Representatives for the Sussexes addressed Sykes' article by asserting that the exclusion of American Riviera Orchard from Netflix House was not meant to be an affront, and that the brand's initial strategy was to concentrate on an online retail approach. Nevertheless, observers promptly observed a discernible contradiction between that statement and the Duchess's recent public comments. During the Fortune Most Powerful Women Summit, the Duchess articulated her enthusiasm for the future of her lifestyle brand, specifically indicating her want to explore brick-and-mortar opportunities and to establish physical retail partners for product distribution. The term brick-and-mortar denotes physical retail establishments as opposed to e-commerce platforms. The Duchess's remarks indicated her openness to, if not active consideration of in-person retail collaborations. The apparent inconsistency between the Sussexes' representatives' assertion that the brand was always intended to function exclusively online and the Duchess's public interest in physical retail partnerships fueled criticism and speculation. Observers concluded that the couple's communications team might be attempting to manipulate the narrative regarding their corporate affiliations and the perceived robustness of their relationship with Netflix. The essence of the Netflix agreement has remained a persistent topic of contention. The Sussexes' most viewed Netflix endeavor was the 2022 docuseries Harry and Meghan, which garnered substantial viewing and considerable controversy, partly due to its critical depiction of the royal family and the British media. Other projects generated under the agreement have received diminished attention. For instance, Heart of Invictus, a doc-series failed to attain comparable visibility, and an animated children's series titled Pearl, for which Meghan was designated as an executive producer, was terminated by Netflix in 2022 during a broader corporate initiative of budget reductions. The varied performance of the Netflix lineup contrasted with elevated expectations, and the couple's notable prominence has led to ongoing examination over the partnership's fulfillment of its goals for both parties. The advancement of the Duchess's own lifestyle enterprise, American Riviera Orchard, is closely associated with the trajectory of her connection with Netflix. Initiated in early 2024 with a soft rollout predominantly on Instagram, the brand aims to include a variety of products. Reports suggest home goods, select food items, and cookware that embody a lifestyle aesthetic linked to the coastal regions that inspired its name. The brand's introduction has been described by some analysts as inconsistent or hesitant. A preliminary promotional distribution featured a restricted quantity of packages allegedly dispatched to a select group of 50 influencers and intimate acquaintances with products like jars of strawberry jam and dog biscuits. The approach elicited social media discourse, although it did not promptly result in a widespread public product launch accessible to general consumers. Tom Sykes characterized the brand's initial phase as chaotic, labeling the launch a mess, and referencing purported operational difficulties including name alterations and supply limitations. He contended that the marketing strategy has predominantly depended on the Duchess's individual Instagram presence instead of a comprehensive multi-channel commercial rollout, interpreting the limited promotional expenditure as a sign of uncertainty about the product's future. Additional apprehensions were expressed regarding quality control. One recipient of a promotional package publicly asserted that a candle included in the gift box arrived devoid of a wick, rendering it essentially inoperative. Although these problems may appear insignificant individually, critics argue that initial errors of this kind can adversely affect a fledgling luxury brand, eroding consumer trust and hampering the establishment of a unique identity in a saturated market. Skeptics interpreted the brand's exclusion from Netflix House as another evidence that American Riviera Orchard had not attained the cultural or commercial prominence associated with established Netflix franchises such as Bridgerton. Outside the realms of fashion and trade, the Sussexes persist in navigating a multifaceted public role that intersects stardom, royal heritage, and economic aspirations. Speculation has emerged indicating that the pair might be organizing a tour of Australia, a decision that has ignited discussion on its timing and significance. The conversations are notably intense as the Prince and Princess of Wales are reportedly contemplating an official tour to Australia over the same time frame, possibly with their children contingent upon the princess's recovery from an illness. Within the realm of public diplomacy and royal scheduling, two prominent trips by affiliated members of the extended royal family may engender uncertainty or be interpreted as competition. Certain analysts have conjectured that a visit to Sussex could be orchestrated in a manner that would eclipse or complicate the official schedule of the heir to the throne. Observers have identified historical precedents. The Sussexes' 2018 tour of Australia was initially a public relations success. However, subsequent revelations in their Netflix series and Prince Harry's memoir, Spare, indicated that the trip coincided with a period of personal turmoil and discontent for the couple. Reports from the previous visit indicated that the Duchess perceived limitations imposed by royal protocols and the obligation to undertake engagements without personal financial gain, a situation that some critics, such as Angela Levin, argue influences current motivations and judgments regarding prospective travel. Should the Sussexes undertake a private or semi-public visit to a Commonwealth nation, concurrently with an official engagement by royal family members, opponents contend that their presence may engender diplomatic ambiguity. The Sussexes, as non-working members of the royal family, would not officially represent the crown, but their prominence and the media scrutiny they attract could hinder photo opportunities, newspaper coverage, and the messaging intended for publicly sanctioned royal excursions. This situation underscores the persistent conflict between the Sussexes' aspiration for autonomy and the lasting popular view, both domestically and globally, that inextricably links them to the monarchy. Simultaneously, Prince Harry has pursued a career independent of royal institutions. He was recently announced as the keynote speaker for an event in Canada on December 1st. Promotional materials characterized him as the Chief Impact Officer of Better Up, a mental health and coaching organization, as an investor in the sustainable investing platform Ethic, and as a respected authority on global issues, noting his address to the United Nations General Assembly. Such engagements, when he participates in compensated events and delivers speeches or interviews for remuneration, have attracted criticism from people who perceive them as commercializing the prestige and recognition associated with his previous royal rank. Critics characterize this method as pay-to-play, suggesting that listeners buy access to someone whose notoriety was attained by privilege, and they scrutinize the extent of his expertise in the subjects he addresses. Angela Levin has been cited as stating, "He cannot perform these tasks. He lacks knowledge in these areas. His sole capability is directing others." Conversely, proponents of the Sussexes contend that they are utilizing their platforms to promote causes and establish financially viable careers following their withdrawal from official responsibilities. The couple's representation in the media remains divisive. Tabloid journalism persists in providing spectacular headlines that highlight purported professional instabilities or interpersonal conflicts. A recent edition of the U.S. tabloid, The National Enquirer, featured bold claims such as, "Famous friends cut her off," 23rd staffer quits, and even Harry has had enough. Tabloids of this nature frequently seek sensational narratives and possess a legacy of exaggeration. However, these covers mirror and perpetuate a continuous critical narrative surrounding the Sussexes, contributing to an ongoing cycle of examination and reaction. The Duchess's personal decisions and social affiliations are examined with comparable intensity. Reports indicate that she has sought the counsel of a celebrity psychic named Angela Pearl, prompting some commentators to draw parallels to the late Princess Diana, who was recognized for her consultations with spiritual advisors and healers, including individuals like Simone Simmons. Observers presented two primary interpretations of Meghan's consultations. Some posited that they could be a strategic endeavor to cultivate an image akin to Diana, thereby engendering public empathy and connection. Others contended that the Duchess might be pursuing authentic emotional or spiritual guidance amid a phase of transition and uncertainty. Angela Levin presented a nuanced evaluation, suggesting that the Duchess may be driven by both an aspirational connection to Diana and personal necessity. She lacks financial resources. She is unemployed. She requires spiritual guidance, Levin stated. She must now undoubtedly ponder, what have I done incorrectly? What actions are necessary to rectify the situation? The reference to Diana as a comparative figure emphasizes the significant symbolic legacy that continues to shape public perceptions of any female associated with the royal family. The Duchess's engagements with other prominent figures are frequently analyzed for underlying meanings. Following her being caught conversing with Amazon founder Jeff Bezos at a public event, some critics characterize her body language as flirty and conjectured that she may be fostering connections with influential business executives to advance her commercial objectives. Critics regarded those interpretations as exaggerated assessments of standard networking conduct. They noted that Bezos' associate Lauren Sanchez attended the dinner, rendering any implications of misconduct baseless. Nonetheless, the story was integrated into a larger narrative wherein opponents see the Duchess as deliberately pursuing powerful allies for commercial expansion. For supporters and impartial viewers, the encounter may be interpreted as a typical exchange among notable individuals at a public event. These public dynamics and entrepreneurial endeavors transpire within a larger royal framework that is itself fraught with persistent problems. Prince Andrew, the Duke of York, has garnered renewed scrutiny following his recent public appearance riding a horse in Windsor, marking one of his first sightings since additional court documents concerning his connections with the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein were disclosed. In 2019, the Duke was relieved of his official responsibilities and subsequently forfeited military positions and royal patronages due to a civil action filed by Virginia Giuffre, who accused him of sexually assaulting her as a minor. He has persistently refuted those charges. His ongoing stay at Royal Lodge on the Windsor estate and sporadic public appearances continue to elicit public unease because to the sensitive and scandalous nature of the claims associated with him. Angela Levin articulated a widely held sentiment by stating, "I cannot endure looking at him. I cannot endure seeing him." The Duke's appearance alongside an unidentified young woman during the outing also elicited commentary and apprehension from certain observers, with Levin expressing concern for any female to approach him. Prince Andrew's presence at Royal Lodge complicated family ties, as his ex-wife Sarah Ferguson, Duchess of York, is also associated with the property and has encountered her own professional challenges. Reports indicate that publishers have been reluctant to forward projects associated with her due to the strong connection of the York name with ongoing controversy. The intertwined personal and reputational concerns within the royal extended family highlight how scandals and unresolved legal issues can significantly impact interconnected careers and associations. The recent reports regarding lone designer garments, the phased introduction of American Riviera orchard inquiries about the Sussexes' Netflix collaboration, and the couple's persistent public engagements collectively illustrate a multifaceted depiction of two prominent figures striving to establish autonomous identities and careers while remaining closely linked to the institution they departed from. The disputes regarding seemingly trivial issues, such as the purported retention of a single gown, have acquired undue symbolic significance due to their connection to matters of etiquette, accountability, and relationship management that are fundamental to the fashion and entertainment industries. Their media alliances and entrepreneurial endeavors have been viewed not only as business advancements, but also as indicators of the couple's sustainability as autonomous public figures. The Sussexes face a series of conflicting demands to foster financial success and creative independence to shape public perception via a consistent media strategy and to navigate their murky position with the British royal family. Observers and critics find a consistent array of events to evaluate the success or failure of the balancing act. The narratives concerning designer garments, brand inaugurations, and media partnerships not only recount specific events, but also highlight the overarching structural difficulties encountered by individuals shifting from established institutional roles to entrepreneurial public personas reliant on personal brand development and collaborative industry connections. The issues surrounding the Duke and Duchess of Sussex illuminate the precarious logistical and reputational implications of contemporary celebrity culture as much as they reflect on the couple themselves. Thank you for watching the video. Please let us know your thoughts and goodbye for the time being.